Worship, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. As you've heard, I am the Queen's representative in Cheshire, and on behalf of Her Majesty, I am delighted to be here this afternoon to present to each of you in the 2M team the highest business award which exists in this country. So if you only remember one thing that I've said this afternoon, I hope that you will remember, I hope that you'll all understand that together, as a team, what you have done is to win the UK's highest business award. So many, many congratulations to everybody in the team. Now, I like, on these occasions, to discover how such a successful company was born. And the story of 2M's birth is an amazing story of risk-taking and entrepreneurial success. As some of you will know, Motti was, at the time, the president of a US-owned public company, no doubt earning that sort of salary. And Maggie had a successful career as an academic. And in 2004, they both gave all of that up to acquire a company in the United Kingdom called Banner Chemicals. Maggie, it's amazing that she's standing there at his side today, because she told him right then he was out of his mind. And she did her best to explain that they were going to be homeless. But Motti said, if it all goes wrong, I'm still a trained chemical engineer. Banner had been bought by a US company in 1999. And in 2004, the then owner of the company asked Motti if he knew anyone who might be interested in buying it. And Motti said that he might. So Motti and Maggie sold their house, took out a big loan, and truly put everything on the line. And 2M was born. At the time, the company had a turnover of around £28 million and 70 employees. And although it had been trading by then for 144 years, it had no export business. The risk they took has worked, because today you have a turnover of some 128 million, exactly 100 million more. You have 330 employees, and instead of no exports, you're selling your products to 90 countries around the globe. But I do think it is important today to stop and think, to imagine and to remember the courage and the risk that Motti and Maggie took 15 years ago. They did, in truth, risk everything. And today, as you win the Queen's Award for Enterprise, we all thank and salute you for having the courage to take that enormous risk. Banner Chemicals had been established in 1860, and it became a company with a great reputation. And as I went round your new building last week and saw all the memorabilia on the walls downstairs, I was struck by the obvious ethical behaviour of that Victorian business. And I was particularly struck by one quote on the wall in your reception, a quote from Samuel Banner himself. And he said this: "The reputation of the firm from whom you buy is just as important to you as the standing of the firm to which you sell." Just remember that. I will come back to it. It just shows that although much has changed in the last 150 years, in truth, much has stayed the same. And in talking to Motti and Maggie, or should I just say the 2Ms, I was struck by the clear importance today of the company's reputation for great products and great service, and most importantly, by the honest and ethical business practices that each of you exhibit every single day. So they bought this UK company, they had lots of debt, and the first major challenge for the new company arrived just 9 months later. It was June 2005. And as some of you will know, Banner's main distribution centre was in Stratford in East London. A group of government officials arrived one day from London, from the London Development Agency, and asked Motti if he'd heard the news. What news? Said Motti. The news was that London had won the bid to host the Olympic Games in 2012. To which Motti replied, "So what?" And the answer to that question was, "You're standing on the Olympic swimming pool. And you have a maximum of 18 months to get out." Motti made it clear that that was totally impossible. The permits to handle chemicals are compulsory in this business, and it would take at the very least 5 years to get permission to move those permits. There were, of course, some people who thought they were lucky, compulsory purchase in East London. But needless to say, they didn't feel like they were in the company. Imagine the uncertainty for the employees and, of course, for the suppliers and the customers. They were all truly nervous. So Motti scoured the country to see if there was anywhere else where the business could be conducted. And amazingly, he found a plant in Middlesbrough, which had some of the permits and where some of the business at least could be conducted. And after negotiations with the London Development Agency and with Middlesbrough, Motti decided to buy that plant. And therefore, within 12 months, you were able to relocate and build new buildings and a new laboratory. Almost all the money from the sale of London was used to buy Middlesbrough. New employees were recruited, and I'm quite sure Motti thought, at least people will be cheaper up here. Only 2 of the London employees chose to move, because I guess most of those London employees would have been as surprised as I was when I discovered that chemical experts earn more in Middlesbrough than they do in London. Because there is so much of the chemical industry in the northeast, there was a lot of competition for able chemistry graduates. So those of you who are chemists, I shouldn't be telling you this, but the wages are good in Middlesbrough. And so, having only bought the first business in 2004, in 2006, the company moved to Middlesbrough, and though you didn't have all the permits you would have liked, you did have enough to enable you to conduct most of the business. You might have thought that the 2Ms would have wanted a rest after that, but no. The next chapter began the very next year in 2007 when they bought Surfachem in Leeds, which took the company into the world of personal care products, where you supply many of the necessary ingredients and formulations and know-how for those posh brands which sell for such huge sums on the ground floor of what used to be supermarkets, not used to be department stores. But for you, the exciting thing about this acquisition was that Surfachem had some export customers, and you helped them to expand that export business. And this was, in truth, the start of your export journey, and indeed the start of the journey which has led to us all being here today as you win this award for international trade. And at the same time as all of that, you agreed a new strategy for the company in the UK. And since then, the growth of the group has roughly been 50-50 between acquisitions and organic growth, as new products have also been developed. The next significant development of your export business was in 2009, when Ineos, just up the road, decided to close a line of production they were making here in Runcorn. This was, of course, previously a part of that bellwether of British industry, ICI. And many of us who've been in Cheshire a long time still can't believe that ICI is no more. But you are one of the beneficiaries of that. The main products of this line that INEOS were going to discontinue were chlorinated solvents, whose main application at the time was in refrigerants, a market which was in decline. But Motti and Maggie, being clever chemists, realized that there were other opportunities for these products, particularly special applications in refinery, in aviation, and in the oil and gas industry. So they asked INEOS if they could take over the line of production, and they bought that business from INEOS. Now, this is the stage of the story when you have to remember that quote I quoted a moment ago from Samuel Banner. Because most of the overseas customers of INEOS were really upset by the closure of INEOS. And frankly, they had lost confidence in the UK supply line. They no longer trusted the supplier. So there was a huge job to do to rebuild confidence. And here, thanks are in truth due to what is now called the Department of International Trade. They did a lot of market research, and they helped to build back that confidence, and in particular the DIT led to opening markets in South Korea and in Vietnam, where they helped to find new customers. So this is a really fantastic story of a public-private partnership making a real difference. And Motti has really asked me to stress how helpful the DIT were, even to the level of providing people with the necessary foreign language skills to accompany them on trips to places like South Korea and Vietnam. The result was a huge boost to your exports. And on the back of this, it enabled there to be exports of products from the original Banner chemical business. And in addition to finding markets for the products, there was also the big task of taking a production facility which was to close down and reviving the manufacturing. And the plant was moved from Runcorn up the road to Liverpool. All of this growth, of course, provided direct employment as well as employment for many service providers, including storage companies, shipping companies, and, for example, a local drum manufacturer got a lot of business. Particularly worthy of mention today is all that Maggie and your marketing team did to create a brand from what had before been sold as a commodity. Now, as a businessman, I am truly in awe of people who are able to do just that. One of the rather strange challenges that I was once given as Lord Lieutenant was to be the cheese judge at the Cheshire show. You look at perhaps 100 big cheddar cheeses. They all look identical. Frankly, I thought they all tasted identical, and you have to choose a winner. Not much fun, as inevitably there are going to be 99 losers. And yet, even in that world, people that you will have heard of, like Cathedral, have managed to create a brand, enabling to sell their cheddar for more money than ordinary cheddar. And you have done just that as well. You have, with some of your chemicals, turned them into a brand which is just so hard to do, and you really should be congratulated for that. And the result, of course, of having a premium brand is that you've been able to ship products worldwide, with the DIT still helping all over the globe. You now have subsidiaries in Poland, in Germany, China, Brazil, Belgium, and Norway. And in many cases, you've built that overseas business from scratch with your own people. You now sell to 90 countries. I don't think there are 90 flags there, but hey, we sell to 90 countries, principally in Europe, the Middle East, North and South America, and in Africa. And many people have been a big help in this great journey. It is really difficult when you start mentioning people, because Motti and Maggie were concerned that I should start mentioning people, because if you mention some person, you clearly don't mention others. But they have in particular asked me to thank Greif, your drum supplier, who has been very much a part of turning the products into a brand. And Motti also asked me in particular to mention both Maggie, who he did not make homeless, and also Martin Chambers, as you are the two who have spearheaded the fantastic export success. The result of all of this is that your export sales have grown hugely in absolute terms and also as a percentage of the total company sales. They have more than doubled in value in just the last 3 years. The success is based on total dedication of each of you. Each of you 2AM employees do everything you can to make sure that you make high-quality products and to ensure that your reputation is as a producer of the highest quality. And again, that takes us back to that Samuel Banner quote for his values of quality and integrity. But before I finish, I just want to pay tribute to your role also as a good corporate citizen, because we all know that that is so important in Britain today. And you are model citizens in many ways. Motti is hugely active in promoting the benefits of the chemical industry throughout the UK. He is an ex-chair of both the Chemical Business Association and the Solvents Industry Association. He often makes clear to anybody who will listen, I think, that the chemical industry is essential in connecting the building blocks of everyday life. And he's been involved in the last 3 years, which must have been a challenge, in representing the chemical industry to government over the Brexit issue. He has, for 10 years, been a mentor of entrepreneurial studies at London Business School, and he's a governor of the University of East London. And he's had many leadership roles in the Young Presidents Organization, which is where Motti and I first met each other. And of course, as far as being a good corporate citizen is concerned, many of your products are vital to life, from keeping drinking water free from bacteria to your involvement in green tech as you reduce diesel emissions. You also have, as a company, devoted considerable resources and energy in helping young people to access a career using STEM skills. And each year you provide over 550 opportunities for young people to find work placements and jobs. And you also provide career guides and get into science days. And as I go around Cheshire, which some people outside the county think we are an agricultural county, and indeed agriculture does play a part, but only 2% of the population of Cheshire is now involved in agriculture. We are actually a science county, and as I go around the county, the thing that I am told most often by chief executives is our biggest worry is where do we find our next science graduates from? As many employees are retiring, there are not enough young people coming in. So the work that you are doing to encourage young people to study STEM subjects at school, to take science at A level and indeed at degree level, is hugely important to the county and to the country. And now here at 2M House, you have a dedicated space, including a chemistry demonstration area, space for presenting to 40 children and their teachers at the same time. So you can see easily that you are not only a very successful and entrepreneurial company, but you are also a model corporate citizen. You are all truly very worthy winners of the Queen's Award for Enterprise in International Trade. Many congratulations. Definite challenge. Right, I just thought I would read to you the certificate that you've got for this award, signed personally by Her Majesty. And as you probably see, the Queen's signature is at the top, and you will hear as I read the expression under the Queen's sign manual. Most of us sign our letters at the bottom, but the sovereign always signs at the top. hence under the Queen's Sign Manual. So, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, Queen, Defender of the Faith, to 2M Group Limited, trading as 2M Holdings, greeting. We, recognizing the outstanding achievement of the said award winner, as demonstrated in the furtherance and increase of the international trade of our United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, our Channel Islands and our Island of Man, and wishing to show our royal favour, do hereby confer upon it the Queen's Award for Enterprise International Trade for a period of 5 years from the 21st day of April 29 until the 20th day of April 2024. We hereby give permission for the said award winner during the 5 years of the currency of this our award to fly the authorised award flag, you need a flagpole, and to display the award emblem in the manner authorised by our warrant of the 14th day of July 2017, and to use and display in the manner prescribed in our said warrant the flags and emblems of any former Queen's Award which he currently holds, given at our Court of St James under our Royal Sign Manual this 21st day of April 2019 in the 68th year of our reign. And it's also signed, this will definitely be a keepsake, by somebody who used to be the Prime Minister. I can't tell you who will be signing them next week. So, very many congratulations. Excellent. I'd like to present the bowl as well. So let's just uncover the great reveal. This is going to... Where's Martin? I'm here. Excellent. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much. And congratulations to you. There you are. You can hold that together. Don't drop it. Now, I'm conscious you've all been standing for some time, but I just want to say one other thing. This is the Queen's way of saying thank you. Thank you for what you've done for the British economy. But it's also the Queen's way of saying please do more. And what I have discovered, having had the privilege to present a number of these awards around the county, is that they really can make a difference. This is not just another piece of glass. I'm sure you have, as a company, won many pieces of glass. And what I've discovered is that many companies who have really worn this award proudly in their lapel or put the award on their letterhead in the days when there were letterheads, or whatever it is, it makes a difference. My favourite story is of a company in Nantwich who got one of these awards a couple of years ago, and they had been trying for ages to get into a Chicago company to supply them. They had tried and failed on numerous occasions, and so they were going on another visit to Chicago. So they wrote to this company again and said, please, can we come and see you again? And when they got there, they found it was a completely different reception. The chairman was really pleased to see them, and it was great. And it wasn't long before the conversation turned, and we've seen you've just won the Queen's Award. I said, yes, we have, yeah, thank you. He said, well, if you're good enough for the Queen, you're good enough for us. Here's your first order. We normally do a whole load of due diligence on overseas suppliers, but because you've got the Queen's Award, we're not going to bother. So the reason I tell this story is because those of you who are involved in export markets, do please wear the little E in your lapel. People will ask what it is. Do please make sure that your customers are aware. There are many countries in the world that look at the Queen in awe. There is in Britain a bit of a feeling that she's part of the furniture. But if you go to the United States, and certainly to all the Commonwealth countries, she is admired hugely. And the result of having the Queen's Award really can, and I hope will, help your business. So don't be shy about it. Don't treat this like any other business award. It's a tool that you can use to expand your business. Thank you.